In case there was any question. Now that I think about this, it's actually a spoiler for part of a spoiler at least, for my Disney haul going up eventually, once all of the Disney videos are done. Alright, let's just get started, shall we? Should we wait until nearly halfway through the video to put in my intro? No? Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should, because I talk about geeky things, and today is Saturday. Why do I say that every time? Today is Monday, which is the day that we sit down, or stand up, I'm standing, you are probably sitting, and talk about Power Rangers Beast Morphers. This was the second episode of season 2. This is the first full season I will be doing episode reviews about, so this is gonna be an interesting year. Anyway, let's talk about this one. Save Our Shores is the name of this episode. So I forgot to do this last week, but if you want to skip the full episode recap, you can go ahead and hit this timestamp right here, and that will bring you to my thoughts on the episode. So there you go. See you in a little bit. Bye. This episode opens up with Blaze teaching karate. He stops and then goes and sits with the others, and they're kind of just chatting when we learn that Roxy has taken up a new job with her aunt, Regina Collins. That name sound familiar? Not Regina, but Collins, but the face certainly was familiar. So we had a former Power Ranger villain come back. I mean, not that she's playing that villain, she's playing a different character completely, but it is still fun to see actors returning after so many years of not being part of the show. Yeah. Girl who played Elsa is playing Regina, and I don't know if we're going to see more of her. I'd like to see more about this fact that Roxy is a Collins. The Rangers learn that there is a shipping accident which has caused a huge issue at one of the shores in their town. So they go off to see what's going on. They see Roxy there, and they say that they're going to help. Then Ben and Betty show up, covered in what they think is sunblock, and saying that they thought they were going to go swimming. They said meet at the beach, but obviously they have to help clean up. So they decide to start cleaning up when all of a sudden they get stuck to the garbage and learn that what they had in fact put onto their bodies was glue. It's fine. I mean, it's not, but it's going to have to be because it's what we have. This is when Ben and Betty think it's a good idea to go ahead and start rolling around playing in the garbage. They're picking it up with their bodies. We'll talk about it later. Because, Ben and Betty are funny, so. This is when Roxy, Blaze, and the Rangers are informed that there is actually a sea turtle that has been found, and he seems to be sick. And so they go up to look at him. Zoe brings up the fact that she used to volunteer with this place that would take in sick and injured marine wildlife and nurse them back to health so that they can go back into the wild, which a lot of these ocean towns tend to have because, as per this episode, we are messing up our planet. This is when we jump to the villains of the show, and we see Evox teleport in his human body, but we're not seeing the entirety of his human body because we're not supposed to know who he is in his human form yet, I guess, which we're going to talk about a little bit. But yeah, so we're not supposed to know who he is yet, and Scrozzle is concerned that he's using it too much because if he runs out of Morphex, he will in fact transform in front of the Rangers at some point. So I'm assuming this is what's going to happen at some point. It is also what happened to Anton/Mesogog in Dino Thunder, so it shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Roxy, Zoe, and Blaze all confront Roxy's aunt, Regina, about the concept of helping this place take care of these sick animals that were hurt or that were injured by the shipwreck, essentially. And of course, because she owns a heartless corporation, she doesn't want to donate any money. She wants to just, keep her money and not help out. And then, of course, Roxy is very upset by this, so she actually calls the marine life place, and she says that they are going to donate the money, and she just knows she's going to have to deal with it later. At one point, the Rangers are fighting a new Robotron, and the Robotron capture Roxy and Blaze. So this is where I'm thinking they're going to take Roxy and Blaze back to where they were and then somehow turn them into the Robo Roxy and Robo Blaze. But that's not what occurs. So, I mean, it is. They just are not, they're not forever captured. They're saved. And so I was a little confused, but we're going to get to Robo Roxy and Robo Blaze in a little bit. They are captured into a cage. Zoe calls for help. Help comes to save them, and the Rangers are all fighting. Nate is trying to save Roxy and Blaze, and eventually Ravi goes over, uses his gorilla strength to get them out of the cage. The others are fighting them and are put in cages, and then they are just easily destroyed. So, the Rangers couldn't go do that for Blaze and Roxy, but they could do it for themselves, so continuity has never been a great thing in Power Rangers. Scrozzle comes and ends up scanning Blaze and Roxy. So now I'm starting to get the idea that, of course, this is when he's going to go back and make the Robo. This is actually at the point now where I'm wondering if they're going to stay conscious or if they're going to, like in season 1, become unconscious while their Robo versions versus their Avatar versions were going to be alive. The Rangers are able to defeat the Robotron. Of course, this was just a chance to lure them out so that they could scan Blaze and Roxy so that they could create the new Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy. So that's what Scrozzle does. He goes back and creates Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy. I gotta say, I mean, the acting in the season itself is actually really good. Like, it's probably some of the better acting we've seen since Dino Charge. I feel like Dino Charge was the last time we had really solid acting in Power Rangers, and then before that, the only time we really had real solid acting was RPM, and just pretty much all of the Disney era of Power Rangers. So it's really nice to see such good acting again. But I gotta say, man, Blaze and Roxy, they are so good at playing evil. I adore how they play evil Blaze and evil Roxy. When the avatars were destroyed in season 1, I was actually slightly disappointed because I really love how they play evil. And so having Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy and having them be the Violet and Amber Rangers, essentially, I'm just here for that, and I'm just very excited, and I'm really interested in seeing where that's gonna go. But yeah, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. I mean, I'm already talking about what's good about it. The Rangers and Roxy and Devon, the good ones, are, which I'm sure there will be some things there where that's concerned, some issues about a mistaken identity, except for the fact that evil, like Robo Roxy, Robo Blaze both have colored hair now. So maybe not, but we'll see what happens. The Rangers and Roxy and Blaze are at the marine life facility, and they're talking about the donation. Roxy obviously looks very guilty because obviously she basically stole this money to be able to help, for a good cause, but at the end of the day, she basically stole this money, so she does have a little bit of guilt. This is when Regina comes, traps it in, super upset that somebody donated money that she didn't want to donate, making her seem even more heartless to go to this place and be like, yeah, I want my money back now. But this is where she has her change of heart because, these storylines. Anyway, they find another sea turtle. They go to look at it. This is when Regina realizes that it really was the spill that hurt the animals, and she decided that she would donate whatever it took to make sure that the animals were safe and out of harm's way and healthy, so they could be released back into the wild. At that point, the Rangers are called into a fight. So Blaze and Roxy kind of veer the others away because we have secret identity Rangers this season. So they veer the others away while the Rangers are able to leave and go morph and go fight. Well, they didn't morph yet. That's right, because there was a civilian fight first, which again, I'm very happy to see civilian fights. We didn't see that a lot in Neo Saban because they stopped hiring people who actually knew martial arts at one point. So So they go and they actually get to meet Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy for the first time. And of course they're super confused because obviously they defeated the avatars. They didn't realize they were robots yet, but they defeated the avatars. So why are they back? They start a fight, and I really do like the sound effects that they have whenever they were getting hit, because it did sound like they were hitting metal. Robo Blaze begins to malfunction, and this is when the Rangers find out that they're actually robots. And this is when they also morph into the Violet and Amber Rangers for the first time, and the Rangers go after them, and they are fighting now, all morphed after the civilian fight, and the Rangers are able to defeat the Robos so fast. They were able to defeat them, guys. Yay! This is when the Gigadrone, of course, attacks, and the Rangers get into their Zord and defeat the Gigadrone very quickly, to the point that I went, wait, they defeated the Gigadrone? I was in the process of writing Gigadrone attacks, Rangers and Zords, and I looked up and it was destroyed. These guys and their fight sequences. I mean, obviously it must be because the Sentai is really hard to match, but I don't know. I have not seen any of the Sentai. Please don't spoil any Sentais for me that I have not seen. But yeah, because eventually I'd like to see this Sentai, but it has to be legally available in the United States. So everything is good to go, right? Not really, because Scrozzle just downloads Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy again, which tells me that they're going to be defeated a lot and then just brought back, which begs the question if they're even more powerful at this point, or if they're not, because if they're going to continue to be destroyed, it took all season to destroy them last time, and now they destroyed them right away in the very first fight. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see, and I love that we're back again. It was, again, I just love those two. I cannot wait to see their careers just skyrocket for how great they honestly were in this. It's going to be fun to see them mature as actors even more and have more and more roles as time goes on and do more and more things. And I'm just very excited to see them do more. And of course, the episode ends with a wonderful note that the sea turtle that was injured in the episode was better, and they put him back in the water in the tank at the facility so that he could, be better. So there you go. Let's talk about the things that I found that were good. So one of them kind of goes in both categories, and I think you guys should know by now why. Because I have said this before, I've talked about this a few times in the past, but I really do agree with this message. Obviously, I worry about our marine life, I worry about our land life, I worry about our air life, our sky life. I worry about all the animals on this planet because humans are just the worst. Humans are just the worst. We do horrible things to our planet, and we do it thinklessly. We do it without realizing just how bad it is. But the more and more you become aware, hopefully you start to grow a conscience and, like me, try to reduce your waste, try to reduce your carbon footprint, try to just do better for the planet. So there's that. I do very much agree with this message, but this does fit into the bad category as well. You guys should know why. If you guys have watched my Power Rangers videos in the past, especially when I talk about Wild Force, you guys should understand what bad I have to say about it, but we'll get there. I also really like that they did color Blaze and Roxy's hair for Robo Roxy and Robo Blaze. I really like that they did that to differentiate between the good versions and the bad versions, since we're gonna have both in this season, apparently. I would actually like to see, now this is not something that I normally say in these videos, but I think also because when I first started doing them, we were almost halfway through season 1 when I started doing these videos. So what I'd like to see this season is maybe more of the mentality that we had towards the end of season 1, which was Blaze and Roxy were slowly starting to die. I would like to see more of that darkness happening, that the Robos, every time they're regenerated, maybe a little bit more is taken from Roxy and Blaze at that time. Maybe the longer life that they have, the more it's taking from them, since they are using their DNA. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'd like to see more of something like that. I think that would be kind of a cool aspect to go. That's what I would do if I was running this season, but you know what? Judd Lynn is doing that, and we all know how that turns out. I mean, he has turned out great seasons. I'm rewatching RPM right now because I'm always either rewatching RPM or Mystic Force. And I'm rewatching RPM right now and reminded that Judd Lynn did that too. And he did that very well. I mean, he didn't do all of it, but he did do a lot. He didn't mess up that story. So I do have hope that Judd could possibly maybe pull off a good story. The season seems to be shaping out really well. So I mean, 2 episodes in and I'm feeling good about it, but it could turn around at any time. Let's look at season 2 of Dino Charge. Anyway, so those are the things I thought were good about this episode. I thought this episode was actually just good in general. I really like the writing of the episode for the most part. I felt like there was no moment in there where I'm like, oh, that's poorly written, or like that's not conversational, or that's not normal jargon for people to use. You know, there are so many times where that happens in these episodes, not specifically Beast Morphers, but just Power Rangers in general, where the writing just isn't conversational. And Ninja Steel was a great example of that, where the writing was just choppy and just bad. But this season, I'm hoping is going to have really good writing, because last season had decent writing. I didn't have much bad about it other than just the execution of certain storylines. And I'm sure I'm going to have the same complaints this season because Judd Lynn is still involved. But he's not for next season. Now it's bad. I mean, Ben and Betty, but Ben and Betty just are always bad. Every time I see Ben and Betty, I just kind of groan because I'm not a fan of that character archetype. I also didn't like it in RPM with Gem and Gemma. So it's not even just that it's a weaker season. Even RPM, which I find to be one of the strongest Power Ranger seasons ever, I don't like that character archetype. I don't appreciate it. I don't think it's done well, like, ever with Power Rangers. I've never seen it done well, aside from Bulk and Skull. And the ones from Ninja Storm, why can I not remember their names? Both their actresses' names are named Kat. And then Cassidy and Devin, I thought were really well done too, but for the most part, this character archetype, I'm just not a big fan of, and I just want them to go away, and I know they're not going to, but I want them to so bad. The framing of Evox's human body was so dumb, because they have put into the trailer that it is, of course, Devin's dad. So why are they hiding the identity from us right now? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's just dumb. They shouldn't have done that. I think it's just silly. I don't know why they decide to frame it that way. Framing that way is really great. It's really cool when you're trying to keep a secret from the audience, but it's not a secret, and it's not a secret. No, it wasn't even at the end of season 1 because we saw the hand thing. So obviously we know Devin's dad has something to do with Evox at this point. And then the extended trailer gave us the answer, which of course is that he is in fact Evox now. So why hide the identity? You're not hiding something from the audience. It's just dumb. Only is it when you're hiding something from the actual audience. Ugh. Okay, so here we go. You guys should know by now that I'm not a big fan of in-your-face agendas. I'm not even going to call it politics anymore because, honestly, nature conservation and wildlife conservation shouldn't be political. It should be everybody's mind, whether you are conservative, whether you are liberal, whether you are in the middle. We are destroying our planet and we need to stop. So it really isn't necessarily political. It is just an agenda. But I don't like in-your-face agendas, especially in children's television shows. And that's because there are so many more ways that you can tell that story without it being so in your face. And I don't know, like, I feel like it's just not creative to be like, boom, agenda. I feel like there's so many other ways you could tell the same story and give the agenda to people who really should be hearing it, because obviously we need to be teaching our kids not to destroy the planet like all of the generations before them have. And my other big issue with the agenda is the use of sea turtles. I completely understand that sea turtles are obviously the kind of front ground animals right now because of the fact that they eat plastic and they get injured by plastic straws and things like that. And of course we can't necessarily couldn't use whales in this particular episode because they had to be mobile by humans, and that it probably costs less money, probably not much, which from what I'm about to talk about, but it probably costs less money to get some sea turtles than it is to get a freaking whale. Plus, whales should never be in captivity anyway, but that's a whole different story. Anyway, I don't like the use of using sea turtles just because it promotes touching sea turtles, and you're not supposed to. Now, granted, I'm sure that every person that touched a sea turtle, like, none of the actors touched it. Like, none of the Rangers touched a sea turtle. Blaze and Roxy didn't touch a sea turtle. I'm just going to continue calling her Elsa. Regina didn't touch a sea turtle. But you have to, like, be licensed to touch a sea turtle. Otherwise, it is illegal to touch a sea turtle because they are so protected, because they are so endangered. And so the use of sea turtles without promoting that as well, like maybe Zoe goes to touch it and they go, no, you can't touch it because this, that, and the other thing. Like, if you're going to be throwing out an agenda involving sea turtles and you're going to be showing sea turtles, you need to be expressing the realness that exists about sea turtles, which is you cannot touch them unless you are licensed to do so. And so I'm sure the people that were touching the sea turtles at the end, the sea turtle at the end, because nobody actually touched it until the end. And I'm sure the people that were touching it at the end were licensed people to be able to touch them. Otherwise, Nickelodeon and Saban and Hasbro at this point are going to be in lots of trouble. But I'm sure they did their research, and I'm sure they only had people touching the sea turtles who are supposed to be touching sea turtles. But it just, I don't know. This part of me that just knows that law, knows about that kind of thing. It bothers me that they used sea turtles and real sea turtles. They were real sea turtles. I mean, I guess they could have been animatronics, but I don't know. I just didn't like it. I don't think that it's good to use sea turtles and not express the fact that it is illegal to touch them, so that when people are scuba diving or are snorkeling and they're around sea turtles, they don't try to touch them and harm them. Yeah, so there's that. Not only that, but also with this agenda story, I feel like it's such an overused story. It's such a contrived story in general. Like, the whole heartless corporation grows a heart. Again, there's so many more creative ways to tell the story, and they could have done it in so many different ways that I feel like, I don't know, I am by heart a nature conservationist. I do not do, aside from what I do in my everyday life of reducing my waste and not even like recycling much. I mean, I do still recycle, but recycling doesn't do much. It's reducing your waste. I want to get a composter at some point and start composting some of my waste, the waste that I can compost. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm big into nature conservation, but I don't work in nature conservation at all. So I just know what I know from researching and from my friend Sari, who actually is a nature conservationist and wildlife conservationist. So she and I are going to do a video at some point revolving around nature conservation and the myths that surround nature conservation. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know, like, I really appreciate the story, but I don't appreciate how it was told, and I just feel like there are so many other ways I could have done it to make it more memorable and to make it less of a, just, I don't know. I just don't like the whole heartless corporation grows a heart, because it's such an overused concept that they've been using forever. And yes, it is a proven pattern, a proven story because it works, but that doesn't necessarily mean we need to continue using it absolutely all the time. So I don't know. I feel like that was kind of a weak part of the story, is the overall storyline. Anyway, so that's all I got this week, you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow for another Disney video. I may do something that is not a Disney video on Thursday, but we'll see how up to it I am feeling to film a video and edit a video this week, specifically because I am filming this so late. It is already 9:00 p.m. just because I had such a busy day today. So I'm not going to film it tonight, but if I can figure out how to put it together and film it, I will do that this week and edit it before Thursday. And so yeah, there we go. So that's it. What did you guys think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to share this episode. Don't forget to like this episode. Let me know that you guys like these episode reviews. I, love doing them, but I may not continue doing them after this season if they don't have a good ROI. But if they get a good ROI, then I'll continue doing them. So if you guys want to continue seeing these episodes, please give me a like, give me a share, get these videos out there for others to see. And I will see you guys all next time. Bye. What was she knocking down? Oh, that's what she was knocking down. Okay. And then she was ripping up my notes, but luckily I'd already used up all those notes that she was ripping up. Get a kitten, they said. It'll be fun, they said. It is not fun, but at least she's cute.